Man, if that old school intro doesn't get your blood pumping, I don't know what will. Greetings, wrestling fans. It's your favorite redacted homeboy here, coming at you once again from an undisclosed location. And today, I bring you my predictions for this year's Royal Rumble. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the road to WrestleMania, and tomorrow night kicks it off with my favorite pay-per-view of the year, personally, the Royal Rumble. And yes, I call it a pay-per-view. I know they call them premium live events now, but to me, I grew up calling them pay-per-views. They'll always be pay-per-views to me. So that's what I'm going to say. But anyway, today we're going to talk a little bit about the match card, predictions, and certain surprises I think you may have, because with the Royal Rumble, you always go with some surprises. And they've even given away a couple of surprises, which I don't necessarily agree with, but, to each their own. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it and get to talking about it. First, we're just going to go on the regular matches, and then we'll get to the Rumble matches. So, we're just going to go down the list here. Basically, I guess you can call them in order of importance. So, first off, we're going to have the Women's Championship match between Becky Lynch and Doudrop. The build for this has been okay. I mean, I think Doudrop, there's something there with Doudrop. I think she's got some talent, obviously. The problem with Doudrop is her name is not doing her any favors. I don't understand why Vince and these people seem to think that they have to give these people stupid names. I mean, she was Piper Niven in NXT. That's a pretty good name. But then she gets to the main roster and they call her Doudrop. It's just, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's stupid. I don't know. But there isn't a whole lot of stuff to say about this. Basically, Doudrop is just a placeholder to give Becky a challenger and a win going on to WrestleMania. So, obviously, I think Becky Lynch is going to win this match. And while I think they'll have a good match, it'll probably be fairly short and fairly one-sided. Not really much to say about it. Becky Lynch wins and moves on to, I don't know if she goes on to the show in Saudi Arabia to defend the title again, or she just defends the title against the potential Rumble winner. We'll see what happens with how that shakes out. We'll talk more about that later. And then we'll get that match out of the way. Now we're getting to the meat of the card outside of the Rumble matches. And first you got the mixed tag match between Edge and Beth Phoenix and Miz and Maryse. There's been a decent amount of pretty good back and forth between these people. Beth Phoenix, it's nice to see Beth and Edge working together, as a married couple. It's the first time they've got to do anything on camera together, and you can tell they're really having fun. Miz and Maryse, same way. They've done stuff on camera many times, but they're having fun with it. And they're just, the build's been pretty good. I've said it before, I have no problem with the Miz. I respect the Miz and his abilities, and he's a good wrestler, but wasting the few matches Edge has left on the Miz just seems, I don't know, kind of counterproductive, but I've made my opinions known on that. I figured Beth was going to I figured this, obviously, Beth and Maryse were going to be involved in this. I didn't think they were going to do that until WrestleMania. So, the outcome of what I think is going to happen in this match is going to set up potentially 2 WrestleMania matches. Now, what I think is going to happen is it's going to be a good match back and forth. Beth is going to probably dominate Maryse because, I mean, my God, did you see Beth? Have you seen Beth? I mean, look at her. She's always been in shape, no doubt about it, but she is just like, I don't think she's ever been in better shape. And if anybody on Twitter has seen the picture of Beth Phoenix and Adam Cole side by side, that's just hilarious and a whole story for another day. That's hilarious. But Beth is in the best shape of her life, and she's probably going to be physically dominant over Maryse throughout the match. Edge and Miz, they put on a good show. They're good wrestlers. They have good chemistry. They know what they're doing. So it's going to be a good match overall, and I think what happens, the Miz and Maryse are going to win with some kind of shenanigans. Probably Beth they're going to cheat somehow, and Beth's going to get the pin, or maybe Maryse nails her with another loaded purse or something. Something that's going to piss Edge off, doing maybe an injury angle with Beth and piss Edge off to the point where at WrestleMania they have some kind of a blow-off to their feud with a gimmick, some kind of gimmick match, a street fight, last man standing, cage match, something like that. And it could spin off also a Beth versus Maryse one-on-one match. I think more likely that they'll be in the corner of their respective husbands, and then they will get physically involved in the Mania match. But I think this match is just, to let Edge and Beth, work together as husband and wife and have a little fun, and also to set up the WrestleMania blow off between Edge and Miz in some kind of gimmick match. So I think that's what that's for, but it's going to be a good match. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun to see Maurice running from Beth. That's always fun. And Beth she just looks like a monster. She knows how to play the Glamazon character very well. She's pretty damn good at what she does. So that's going to be a good match. And now we're getting into the two championship matches, the Universal title and the WWE Championship. And I'm going to talk about both of these matches, and then I'm going to give my winners of both after I talk about both the matches. And first off, you got Roman and Seth. These two have great chemistry. They're friends. They've known each other for years. They've wrestled each other for years. The whole build-up where Seth has got Roman's number in title matches, it's been pretty good, although I don't know who is dressing Seth Rollins. I don't know if Becky's dressing him or what, but, I mean, I do not like this whole Seth freaking Rollins character, but to me, personally, Rollins, I've always found to be an annoying little prick, personally, so I mean, as a heel, he's doing his job, but I just find him annoying. He's damn good in the ring, but he's just an annoying, whiny, raspy voiced ass character you just want to slap the hell out of. Which, like I said, as a heel, that's what he's supposed to do. I don't really care for him, but he's damn good in the ring, and Roman is doing his best work ever. And I think that they're gonna have a great match. And then I'll bring up the potential who I think is going to win this match after I talk about the next match between the WWE Championship with Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. This match is obviously a long time coming. And people wanted to see that for years, obviously, especially when Bobby Lashley came back to the WWE and Brock Lesnar was there. And there was rumors that there was in Bobby Lashley's contract that he would have a match with Lesnar. This match should be more suited for a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam, but Royal Rumble, it's not a bad alternative. And these two they're going to have a nice little hoss fight. They're probably going to tear each other apart. You know what Brock does. And Lashley is damn good at what he does. And Brock, I think, right now is doing some of the best work of his career. It's just weird. It looks like Brock's kind of enjoying himself, you know? And when Brock is enjoying himself and he gets fresh opponents and fresh rivalries, that's a good Brock. That's an entertaining Brock to watch. I've always said that. Because Brock is a damn good worker when he wants to be. And if he wants to be and he's motivated, he can make anyone look like $1 million, and he doesn't care. And this match could go either way. Now I'll get to these matches here. They're going to beat the hell out of each other. Obviously, it's going to be a hard-hitting match because both of them are as legit as they come. They're MMA fighters. They're amateur wrestlers. They have a hard smash mouth style, so this is going to be a pretty physical match, and it's going to be fun to watch. Now, the outcomes of these matches, I'm lumping them together because I think the outcome of this match is going to set up WrestleMania big time. Now, I think one of the other, either Roman or Brock, are losing their title tomorrow night. And either one could happen. But here's what I think is going to happen. Now, the opposite could happen. Seth could easily beat Roman, but I think Brock is going to lose to Bobby Lashley due to either intentional or unintentional shenanigans from Paul Heyman. Because obviously that Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns thing isn't done yet. And just because Roman Reigns fired Heyman, it's not like Heyman hasn't turned on Brock before. Now, I don't think he would do it intentionally yet. I think it would be an accidental distraction, an accidental trip. Paul just do something to screw up that would cost Brock the title. And, of course, then Paul would go into crying and begging for forgiveness and everything. Just basically doing the golden material that Heyman's just so no one does better. And then that will lead to probably lead to later in the night in the Men's Royal Rumble. I'd say Brock Lesnar steals someone's spot. Sort of like, I think it was back, in 06 Royal Rumble when, I think it was the 2006 Royal Rumble when Kurt Angle stole Nunzio's number. It's like, Brock Lesnar could either just go take someone's number from them and say, what are you going to do about it, or throw them through a wall and take it. But I think that's what happens. Or vice versa, Roman loses and he does the same thing. So I think either Roman or Brock, whoever loses this match is going to be in the Rumble, and I'll get to the Men's Rumble in a minute. But my prediction is Lesnar loses the title to Lashley. due to some kind of unintentional interference. I'll say unintentional, quote unquote, interference from Heyman, which is going to obviously drive a wedge between them. And then the road to WrestleMania is going to be like, who's Paul Heyman going to be? Whose corner is he going to be in for their feud blow off at WrestleMania for whatever championship is the other has? It's going to happen either way. But I just think the easiest way to do it, because Brock is back with Heyman. Heyman can just do something to accidentally, quote unquote, screw Lesnar out of the title, and then he could spend the next few weeks begging for forgiveness, but also still sort of being under the thumb of Roman Reigns. So I think that's what's going to happen. And I'll get to the Men's Rumble and what I think things could happen in the Men's Rumble there. The Women's Royal Rumble is going to be interesting because obviously, they have the the other women's champion, Charlotte, has entered the fray, which I don't necessarily agree with, but she didn't really have any opponents, I would say. So I guess I understand her being in there. Someone eliminating her will give them some good heat. And we're obviously seeing returns of some, a couple of, at least one legend, and a couple of quote-unquote so-called legends, like Lita as a legend, she's coming back, and Mickie James, which is a big thing, and I honestly think that's something that WWE wasted, because it made an impact throughout all of social media when it was announced that Mickie James, the Impact Knockouts champion, was going to be in the Royal Rumble. And of course, this is probably a way to make amends for the snafu with the whole stuff in the garbage bag incident after they released her, give her a nice payday, kind of smooth things over, which is not a bad thing to do. But I honestly think they should have kept that a secret, because what do you think if Mickie James, in the middle of that match, they count down, you hear that buzzer, and then you either hear Mickie James' WWE theme, or I don't know. I haven't watched Impact. I don't get access. So does she still use the hardcore country theme she used in her first stint in TNA? Because if she does, either one, they're very distinct music, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, Mickie James is what is it? Did she jump ship? She's the Impact champion. What's going on?" And it just turns out that they could have a working relationship with Impact, which could bring some involve something in the Men's Royal Rumble too. But that's a pretty cool thing, bringing in, because they've done it before with like other people in the past, with Japan and Mexico and everything. So it's not unheard of. But now in this day and age, especially off of the heels of Impact's absolutely atrocious working relationship with AEW, which was just absolutely just a shit show and completely buried Impact. I don't know why Scott D'Amore and Don Callis and the people in charge over there at Impact at the time, I don't know what they were thinking letting all this go, but whatever. So they can actually do a better job of building up Impact as a viable company and giving them a little bit of a rub, which is I think is a good thing, because it's not like Impact, if they work with Impact is suddenly going to get better than WWE, okay? The WWE is not going anywhere. They're the biggest company in the world. I don't care what the ratings say or whatever demographics are said. And this company that people say this company's just dying a slow death, they just signed a distribution deal for the WWE Network with Disney in Indonesia. Okay, so they've signed a lucrative deal with Disney. So they have deals with Disney, Universal, Fox. Trust me, this company is making money hand over fist. Okay, the WWE understands that there's more than just a TV rating that makes a wrestling company work. The WWE is making profits, okay? Whatever you think of their business practices is a whole other matter. But they're not going anywhere, and they can work with Impact and just give them a rub and make them look a little stronger without them having to, look like a plate full of piss. So that's going in. Obviously, you also have Summer Rae, Michelle McCool, Kelly Kelly are coming back. The Bellas, I take them or leave them. I don't really care about any of them. I honestly don't think there are any of them. I mean, the Bellas and Michelle McCool were only considered quote-unquote legends because of, where their mouth was. Let's be honest here. That's the only reason they've gotten where they are today and are still considered legends by WWE is because Michelle McCool's married to The Undertaker, and the Bellas, one's married to Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, and the other was seeing John Cena for a while, and you saw what happened when they were together. So I don't consider them legends. They're just fodder. And there's rumors that Melina will be involved in this, which is kind of cool. She's working, I believe she's contracted in the NWA right now. She might not be contracted, but she is working in the NWA, which is another thing, NWA wrestlers, male or female, coming over. And of course, you're probably going to get your injury returns. Your Asuka, probably Bayley will come back. Figure that's going to happen. Will we see Alexa Bliss? And if we do, will it be this stupid character, which was kind of dumb even when the Fiend was around, but now that the Fiend is gone, there's no reason for this feud, and it's just dumb. They need to just dump her and let her go back to old Alexa Bliss, okay? It's not like the WWE hasn't been like, well, there's nothing to see here, nothing ever happened in the past, this is all new. So, they've insulted our intelligence before, what's their reason to not do it again? And, maybe you could have another big legend return in Trish Stratus for a little one-off. There'd be a good theory on Trish I'll get to in a minute if she were to be in the Rumble. And, I think that, obviously, the outcome of this Rumble, see, I've had this idea of the outcome of the Rumble for the last couple of weeks in my head that I was going to say. And now, there's another scenario that's kind of coming to play due to the rumors of Ronda Rousey have really heated up this week. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the scenario, the new scenario that would involve Ronda Rousey returning, and then my original scenario. And the first scenario involving Ronda is simple. If Ronda does return, she dominates the Rumble, eliminates the most people, and wins in dominant fashion, and goes on to face either Charlotte or Becky at WrestleMania. If Ronda Rousey's music hits, then you can guarantee you Ronda Rousey's going to win, and probably set a record for eliminations in the process. But if, let's say, Ronda doesn't happen, and I'm hoping it doesn't happen because I don't really care for Ronda Rousey, but, I mean, honestly, if Ronda does come back, she has to win the Rumble because the money match with Ronda will be Becky or Charlotte in terms of that. Although I don't think Ronda's nearly as good a wrestler as people seem to think she is, but I digress. But anyway, here's what I think is going to happen, honestly, and this is all contingent on Ronda not returning, is the Final Four, I think, is going to be Charlotte, obviously, Liv Morgan, Bayley, and then the fourth, in my opinion, it should be either Rhea Ripley or Bianca Belair, and it could be one of those two, but it also could be maybe Asuka or Sasha Banks. So it's going to be one of those four. Like I said, I'm not exactly predicting, but I'll make the prediction now. I'll say it's Charlotte, Bayley, Liv, and Bianca Belair are the final four left. And I've been saying this for a while. I really think Liv Morgan wins this Royal Rumble. And she goes on to challenge Becky Lynch one more time at WrestleMania and gets her moment. I've said that before. It seems like what they're setting that whole feud with Becky up, how she came close 2 times from beating her, and the third time's going to be a charm. They've kind of teased it, and I do think that a lot of people don't like Liv Morgan, but I honestly think that few people, male or female, on the roster can really relate to the audience like Liv can, because she just seems like a regular, down-to-earth girl, and people can relate to that. And I honestly think that Liv Morgan's been working her ass off, and she deserves to get the Rumble win, challenge Becky at WrestleMania, and take the title. That would be a great feel-good WrestleMania moment. That's what I think happens. That's all contingent on Ronda not coming back, because if Ronda comes back, she's going to destroy everybody, eliminate 10, 15 people, and she's just going to, dominate like no one else ever has. And go on to probably face Becky because of their animosity, but it could be Charlotte as well. And there's another scenario that I've mentioned with where the returning legend is Trish Stratus. And I just actually came up with this one yesterday. If they could, I don't know if Trish will even be in this Rumble or she's even interested in coming back for anything, even a one-off or a little run. But if you could talk her into a little run, I honestly think you could have Trish enter the Rumble, win it, and then challenge Charlotte, because that's a good story right there, especially for your women's division, is you have what a lot of people consider the top female of this generation against arguably the top female of the past generation. Now, obviously, everybody has their difference of opinion, but I mean, let's face it, Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus for the women's championship at WrestleMania, that's going to look good on a marquee. So I wouldn't be shocked if someone had this conversation, at least brought it up to Trish, to do this, because I honestly think she's obviously still in good enough shape to do it. And I think that she may not be, obviously she's going to be rusty, but she'll have time to knock that rust off before Mania. And Charlotte is good enough to be able to combat any kind of rust that may need to be shaken off of Trish. So that could happen, but like I said, there's a lot of unpredictability in this Rumble, more than I can remember, honestly. But I'm going to stick to my original guns. I say Liv Morgan wins, goes on to face Becky at Mania, and gets her win. So, bank it, Liv Morgan wins the Royal Rumble. Bam! I'm calling it. Now, the men's Royal Rumble. Now, this one here could have a few surprises in it, and a lot of them wouldn't be as far-fetched as people think, either. Okay, first off, let's just get this bullshit out of the way. Johnny Knoxville, obviously he's in this to promote his stupid Jackass movie. It makes no sense. It's stupid. He's not going to be in there very long. My guess is he'll be there, and his other Jackass buddies will probably be at ringside with him, and probably Omos will pick him up and just throw him out of the ring into his buddies, and then that'll be the end of that crap. Because I think that Omos is going to probably be... There's always that one monster that dominates the Rumble. That one guy like Kevin Nash, Kane, Brock Lesnar a couple years ago. There's always that one guy who's going to dominate, and I think it's going to be Omos. I'm not fond of Omos, and I don't think... And from what I've seen, he hasn't improved as much as people say he has working with AJ. He's gotten a little better, but I don't see anything of what some people see in him. Some people see like the next great big man, and I see the next great Khali. That's what I see. But he's going to be the one to do it. And whoever eliminates him is going to get a lot of heat. Because I guess he could win this thing, but not even Vince is that senile. I mean, come on. But I figured out a way, just kind of thought of a way where, Omos can get eliminated. It wouldn't hurt his character. And also it involves bringing in a wrestler not under contract with WWE at the time. I'm not sure who this guy's under contract with right now, but, I mean, he showed up at a Ring of Honor show, the last Ring of Honor show, and I don't know what's going on with that, so I don't know if it's just if he even has an affiliation. But here's what scenario I would do with getting Omos out of the ring. I would have him come in around 9, 10-ish, you know what I mean? And there'd probably be, 5, 6 guys in the ring, maybe more. Usually it takes a while for the eliminations to get going. Let's just say there's at least 6 guys in the ring. And they're mostly guys and jobbers and dudes are not going to win this thing. And they're just fodder. And Johnny Knoxville will be one of them. And then, Knoxville will get thrown over the ropes, yada yada, into his Jackass crew so they can leave. And then Omos would just obliterate everybody in the ring, Just obliterate them, and then maybe a couple more people come in, they get eliminated, and at the end of that, Omos is standing in the ring ready for his next guy. And then when that buzzer hits, and you hear that roar in the music, and it's Braun Strowman. You bring Braun Strowman back in for just this one-off, just to give him a payoff, and he's a known guy, and also, you bring in a guy back, because they'll bring Braun Strowman back eventually. I think he's known as the Titan right now, but I can see them bringing Braun Strowman back for the Rumble. And then him and Omos can just have a big hoss fight, just beating each other up, just throwing haymakers. And they could be trying to throw each other out of the ring. They're up there. And then the next guy coming in could be Big E. And Big E could hit the ring and just run up and topple both Strowman and Omos over the top rope. Bam. You got Omos out of the ring without hurting him too much. You got, obviously, Strowman got his little appearance and his little paycheck, and that gives some juice to Big E going into the rest of the match. So, that's a scenario I think you could use to eliminate him. It's probably not going to happen, but like I said, this is just fantasy booking at this point. And going into the working relationship with other companies like Impact Wrestling or maybe the NWA, there's a couple of people that could be involved in it. I've heard some people mention Nick Aldis could be a surprise entry into the Rumble, which I guess is possible because he is married to Mickie James, but I don't see Nick Aldis doing it because he has no affiliation with WWE whatsoever. And really, if the WWE wants to make an impact with an NWA wrestler, why not Trevor Murdoch? Right now, he is the NWA Heavyweight Champion, and he has a history in WWE. WWE fans will know who he is because he did wrestle for WWE for quite a while. And he's the NWA champion. That's going to make an impact. I mean, the NWA is not what it once was, but still, you're giving the NWA champion a huge platform on Peacock. That's can do. I mean, Billy Corgan would be crazy not to want to do that, and he doesn't have to win. He just go in there, last 10 minutes or so, boom, get eliminated. Hey, it happens, but decent showing for the NWA champion at a WWE event. That would work. And also, there's some rumors going around about The Undertaker, because he is supposedly, well, he's not supposedly, he is confirmed to be in St. Louis on Saturday night for the Rumble. Now, a lot of people think that means he's going to make some kind of appearance, and I guess he could enter the Rumble. And, I mean, him entering the Rumble would not be a bad way to get an appearance out of him without having to kill his body and have to worry about working a whole match. An old guy like that can really... A Royal Rumble or a Battle Royal setting can be a good spot for a guy his age and with his injury history. Like I had an old scenario about a Hulk Hogan return a few years. This is many years ago. This is back when Rusev was still the Bulgarian Brute, but that's something that will never happen. So I don't need to worry about that fantasy booking. But it could be the Undertaker could enter the Rumble. He wouldn't have to win it. It's just good. Good to see him. It's nice to see him. But I think he's going to be there because his wife, Michelle McCool's in the Women's Rumble. That's what I think. I don't think you're going to see a Taker appearance. Now, you might get a backstage appearance where someone might bump into him or something, but I don't see him getting physical. I think The Undertaker is done. Now, I say that, no one's really ever done, but I think The Undertaker is happy with how it ended, and he's pretty much done. And say what you want, that match with AJ at WrestleMania a couple years ago, that thing was awesome. That Boneyard match, that was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. And I'm not a big fan of cinematic matches, but that was cool as hell. So there could be there could be some other surprise appearances, some returns. You never know. You just don't know. But at the end of the day, if I had to pick a Final Four for this one, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Drew McIntyre, Big E. Maybe Austin Theory. I think Austin Theory will he'll last the longest in this Rumble. Obviously, he's not going to win it yet. I think Austin Theory will probably end up winning a Royal Rumble in the next few years, but not this one. But, Vince McMahon, they're pushing him, and he's like Vince McMahon's quote-unquote pet project. So I think he will probably have the longest... He'll probably go 40-plus minutes in this thing. And it wouldn't shock me if he's in the Final Four. But I said Drew McIntyre and Big E obviously going to be in the Final Four. Maybe, excuse me, maybe could be Austin Theory, could be someone, like who knows who it could be. It's pretty wide open here. But I do think one of the Final Four will be either Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns. Whoever loses their title, it may not be in this match, but they're going to take someone else's spot in the match, and they're going to end up winning it. So... the way I see it is whoever loses their World Championship or the Universal Championship or the World Championship, whoever loses their title, because one of them I believe is losing it, is going to win the Rumble. And right now, in my logic, it's going to be Brock Lesnar winning the Rumble and going on to face WrestleMania to face Roman Reigns, and we'll see where Paul's allegiances lie then. Who knows what's going to happen with that. And then Bobby Lashley will go on to WrestleMania, probably to face, I'm going to say, probably right now Big E. I guess they're bringing that Elimination Chamber to the Saudi Arabia show, and that's going to determine who gets the other title match. I'll say Big E gets that one, but it could be McIntyre as well. But, like I said, these predictions are probably, none of them are going to come true, but this is just how I came up with it in my head. Think about this kind of stuff all the time. I've been booking wrestling scenarios for over 25 years in my head, ever since I used to run my own backyard wrestling federation. I just literally have so many storylines in my head, it's hilarious. But this is what I think will happen. Like I said, Liv Morgan wins the Women's Rumble as long as Ronda doesn't return. If Ronda returns, then all bets are off and Ronda's taking it, and it's just you can go take a piss break. Unless you like Ronda. And the Men's Rumble, either Brock or Roman win it, whoever loses their title. And I think it's going to be Brock. But hell, who knows? Watch both Roman and Brock lose their damn titles. Who knows what's going on? After what happened with day one, with Brock winning the WWE Championship, I don't know what's going on anymore. But I do like the fact that I do believe this Royal Rumble coming up is the most predictable one in history. So that's going to be... It's going to be a fun watch. Like I said, the Royal Rumble is my favorite pay-per-view of the year just because of the unpredictability and, you know, the returns and everything. It's just going to be cool. Oh, yeah, and another caveat I've also mentioned that I forgot to say about the Men's Royal Rumble about returns. It's possible. I'm not saying I haven't heard any rumors about this. This is just something I thought of the other day. A guy you could see probably returning. I don't know if he returned full-time, but he can make an appearance. Bray Wyatt. Now, I'm not saying The Fiend. You can get rid of that whole Fiend character because that was stupid to begin with. The whole Fiend character died during that... Excuse me. The Fiend character... Like, people talk about how Goldberg ruined The Fiend. Like, no. What ruined The Fiend was that god-awful feud with Seth Rollins, culminating in that horrible Hell in a Cell match under that red lighting, which is just dumb as all hell. So, you need to bring back Bayou, Swamp, cult leader type Bray Wyatt. And so the odds of that happening are nil, but if he was going to return to the company, you know, the Rumble's the best time to do it. And who knows, like, no one knows, you know, because he hasn't signed with anyone else we know of, and he hasn't signed with AEW because Tony Khan would have tweeted that out in between snorts. So he hasn't signed with anyone yet, so who knows what's up. And, you know, he's got child support to pay, so he's got to make that money somewhere. So, you might get to see a Bray Wyatt appearance too, but I doubt it. But it's not going to matter because like I say, I think Brock wins the Rumble or Roman wins the Rumble. I'm saying Brock because I think Brock's the one losing the title. So, basically, those are my predictions for the Royal Rumble. Like I said, Becky's going to beat Doudrop. Miz and Maurice are going to beat Edge and Beth due to shenanigans, setting up a gimmick match between Miz and Edge at Mania. I think Roman's going to beat Seth in a good match. Brock Lesnar's going to lose to Bobby Lashley thanks to Heyman shenanigans, whether intentional or unintentional. The Women's Rumble, barring a return by Ronda Rousey, I guess, and Trish Stratus. I say Liv wins and gets her title, wins the title at Mania, because they're going to put the belt on her eventually. It's going to happen this year at some point. Not here. It's probably going to be SummerSlam, so I'd do it here. And then you've got the Men's Rumble. I say Omos dominates. Austin Theory lasts the longest. Brock Lesnar ends up winning after he steals someone's number and beats the hell out of somebody. Who knows who it is? He'll beat up a nobody and take their number. So, it's happened before. It'll happen again. But that's basically all I got for you today. Just looking forward to the Rumble, and I hope you are too. And as always, if you liked the video, hit that like and subscribe for more content. And also, hit me in the comment section and tell me what you think is going to happen. Because I'm really curious. Everybody's got their difference of opinions, and anything can happen. Hell, every one of my predictions could be dead wrong. I'm not an expert, you know. This is just what I think is going to happen as someone who has been watching wrestling for a long time, and how I would book it if I was booking it. This is what I would do. But that's just me. You know, nobody's perfect. Nobody's better than anybody. But again, I thank you for watching. Thanks a whole lot for the support and the subscriptions, and I hope to see you all again in the next video. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Enjoy football. Enjoy wrestling. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your family. Peace out.